Hey guys, I am John Carrick, author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox. Today we are here looking at Danger Girl #1 and our Fantasy Tarot, Fantasy World Tarot card, the Four of Pentacles, Ichinda. This looks like a Nagas, like an Indian snake goddess, or a basilisk of some sort. I know the basilisk is yeah. Anyhow, okay. Danger Girl #1. I have to apologize because I don't have the Danger Girl preview book. I have a big stack of Danger Girl stuff, and we'll look at it when we do the next bit. But I don't have the 12-page preview book, which is our first introduction to Abby Chase, where this one picks up after it. This is #1, but this starts, as they say, in media res, in the middle of the story, which is what they say you should do. It's what I've always done. And it's fun. It's fun that way. This is the review of the preview book. J. Scott Campbell is the best artist, the best comic book artist, in my humble opinion, that I've ever come across. The best. Better than Barry Smith. Better than John Buscema. He's the best. He is the best. Everything, every pen line, there's nothing else to say. There's an ad in here for Joe Madura's Battle Chasers. This was coming out while I was going to animation school. So this was what I considered to be the competition to get into comics. And with my eyes, there was just... I'm going to include some of the art I've been working on, but it's taken me my whole life to get to where J. Scott Campbell got as a teenager. So that's the difference. And this is just amazing to look at. And it's a hilarious story. I do think this could have been colored with more light. I know that I would have colored it with more light. But if you look hard, you can see what's going on. Abby's Jeep is plunging off a cliff. It was literally a cliffhanger. And she jumps out and dives into the water. And this guy with the golden skull is the guy who drove her off the cliff and then made it down to the bottom of the cliff and into his boat. I don't remember any of that, but I literally have not looked at this since it came out. I don't look at this all the time. I should. I absolutely am going. I've been drawing a lot lately now that I'm getting close to being done with my third novel. And see, this was never... Writing was my strength. So anyhow, Abby is underwater. She sees the falling harpoon gun. She sees the bad guy's boat. And she... Also, following in the helicopter is the Danger Girl team. They're very much like Charlie's Angels. Or like 100 Bullets. Any paramilitary private contractor team. This is how they operate. Abby catches on to this guy. He's talking about how he's gonna, now that he's rich and he's won. Also, there are these guys who, this is their bay, and they want Abby and this other guy out of it. I could just leave it. There's no explaining this. J. Scott Campbell is hands down, I think, the best living comic book artist. I know it's a lot to say considering that all he does now is covers, and that after Danger Girl, I don't think he ever went back to interiors. But this run is so good. It's really a shame that he's not doing interiors because, at some point, AI is going to take all of these comic books and animate them. And if there was a treasure trove of J. Scott Campbell cartoon comic book sequential art ready to become movies and cartoons, that'd really be something. So Natalia Castle, the blonde girl who's awesome with knives. Look at how he makes them muscular without making them masculine. Beautiful without being overdrawn. Even this guy, not overdrawn. Every character is absolutely unique. You know, you had this thing going on where in the 70s, a lot of the great artists, the James Bond opening 2-page spread, a lot of artists, all their women looked alike and all their men looked alike. They drew the same shoes on everybody. There's the Battle Chasers. We're going to do that too. We are absolutely going to do that. I think there's only 6 or 7 issues of this before he moved on to video games. Here's the thing about a comic book. Well, for one thing, I can bring it out here and show it off to you guys. But for another, it is a conversation between the writer, the artist, and the reader. This is the sort of X-Men back at Professor X's school. This is that sort of scene where Sydney and Valerie, Cyber Valerie, I think is her name, arguing over what's going to be watched on television. Natalia throws a knife, and then Abby was walking by, and she hears them talking about how they don't like her. And of course, that bugs her. Natalia has this big scar across her back. This is Deuce. He is James Bond. He was formerly part of MI6. And this is where he invites... Well, this is first he explains to Abby that the Fourth Reich is coming back. Fascists, Nazis, are returning. They're building a private military. And he wants her to join Danger Girl, Natalia Castle, Sydney Savage, Silicon Valerie, and Abby Chase. And just everything about this book. This is now we get an ad for Crimson. I never read this. It looks good. I like this guy's face. That's a very scary vampire, saber-toothed vampire. Sydney takes a shower. She and Valerie are roommates. Natalia's there. This is where Abby's walking by and hears them say that they don't like her. And so she goes out to talk to Deuce, which is James Bond's name. She's wearing the 13. 13! Abby agrees to join, and now they're going after this bad guy, the Peach, who is meeting another guy to buy a shield. I feel like I'm turning the pages way too fast. Again, I wish there was more light in the colors, but I think there are artist editions for this. This is a nice touch because they're in France, so you get the red, white, and blue back, the tricolors in the background. Abby has knocked out a waitress, but her outfit is too small. She looks like Stacy Keebler. This guy smacks her butt. The olive is the mic, and this guy eats it right before he says what they need, right before he gives the name of the guy that they need to hear. And then he kills his contact because he's buying a shield and didn't bring money. I don't want to turn the page. I don't want to turn the page. You guys can always hit pause and read it as long as you like. I think this is the first frame where Abby doesn't really look like Abby, but she looks like a beautiful Disney girl, so she looks like Abby. It's funny that this is Abby and the last one was Abby too. Abby Fortell and Abby Chase. Everyone's named Abby this week. This guy and his friends shoot all of their contacts and they drive away. These guys get into a big truck. The Peach gets into a car, I believe, and Abby and Sydney take off after them. You don't need costumes to be superheroes. You don't need costumes to draw people like superheroes. You can do it in everyday clothes. Dave Finch is a close second to J. Scott Campbell. Dave Finch draws this way. He doesn't. I've never seen his girls look like this though, and I haven't read enough of his sequential action to know how good it is. Sydney jumps up into the truck and gives them an Indiana Jones or a Rambo, kicks them out of the truck, and then she starts driving like a maniac to shake the guys out of the back, while Abby chases after the Peach. I can't turn this page. I can't turn this page. How can I turn this page? I don't want to. I just want to live on these two pages forever. His bad guy jumps out onto Abby's car and licks the windshield. Then he comes around with a knife. He doesn't even have a gun. And Abby, this is great. So, excuse me. They're heading towards the tunnel. Abby ejects him into the rooftop and the truck runs him over. I mean, it's right out of James Bond. James Bond had ejector seats. Every convertible should have ejector seats, right? I mean, that's just a good convertible, isn't it? Helicopters. Now she's facing helicopters. To be continued. That's the way every comic book should end. How can you can't turn the page. You can't turn the page. It has just the right number of panels. I don't care that they're inset. I don't care that they don't have regular borders. This is what comic books were meant to evolve into, and we only had it for a few issues. A lot of guys have tried. I don't think anyone has come close to J. Scott Campbell's sequential Danger Girl work. That's my humble opinion. This is, in my humble opinion, Battle Chasers is good, but this is the best comic book of all time. And that is a big statement. If I had to take one comic book to a desert island, it would be the Danger Girl Omnibus. Or the J. Scott Campbell Omnibus. I don't know if that's a thing. It should be. All right, let's do the next bit. Hey guys, so Danger Girl number 1. Really? It's dark. The colors are dark. A lot of it happens at night. I would have done it differently. I really would have. But it's still really, really good. It's about as good as it gets. So what else is going on? today's card is today's conflicted card is the Six of Clubs. Is that the six? I think so. Yeah, the Six of Clubs. Six of Spades, though. Six of Spades. I've probably been calling it clubs for days. It really is sort of abused. This is a pretty simple card. It says the world is collapsing, and food and water can only be consumed once. Do you trust the government to look out for itself or for the people? If everything is collapsing, a government that is not the people does not exist. When everything's again, falling back on Alan Watts, manage a great state by doing very little. Treat little things as big things and big things as little things. And that is how it gets managed. So if it gets to a point that it's no longer manageable, the people who made it unmanageable can't be trusted to fix it. And that's what we're looking at right now. We've got planes falling out of the sky, people flying into each other. This is the effects of DEI or DIE. This is the effects of the Kalergi plan. I don't want to talk about this stuff, but what other choice do I have? I can't come out here and lie to you and say that it's something else. This is Jacob versus Esau meets the Tower of Babel. That's what's going on around you. That's what the Kalergi plan is. It's take these people of these great nations of the earth, these nations that have this unexperienced in the history of mankind, this level of prosperity that most people can't aspire to, and flood them with people who can't manage that, and bring the whole system down to be ruled by a very small group at the top, rabbis. And, it's failing for them everywhere. This is the make or break era. If they don't get their tyranny, everything will pretty much, we'll go back to nation states. Russia and China will be fine, but the EU's over. The American globalism hegemony, all that's over. It's going to be really interesting to see how this unfolds. I predicted Tel Aviv would be in ruins by Thanksgiving of this year. So we'll see. I don't want to be that guy, but that's who I am, and that's where I am. Ichinda is the card for the Fantasy Tarot. This is that box. What else do I want to talk about? I did not get any writing done last night. I needed a night off. I did a lot of drawing yesterday. And I think I'll cut in these pictures of Ashley, my main character. This is a bit where she and her brother, I did this a long time ago in a very bad style, and I need to redo it. So I've been working on the facial expressions for Ashley, and I think I'll be flashing them across right here. You guys can, take a look, tell me what you think if you want, but I haven't built up that kind of an audience yet, so yeah, what else is going on? Today's Monday. I don't know. Every day is an adventure for me. Actually, every day is literally, I'm on a schedule of every day's a holiday and every meal's a feast. Tomorrow is promised to no one. This eye situation I've got, it's strange because I'm able to so pencil lines. This is a artist edition, just the pencils, not inks. I think artist edition is inks, but this is like a preview, and I've been able to connect lines. Let's say her shoulder or her arm, if I had to erase part of it, I've been able to connect inside of one pencil width and connect the one end to the other end exactly. And never in my life have I ever been able to do that because of my eyes saw a different location, and the connection never happened. I could leave the point, but never arrive at the correct point. And that, stopped. I was able to produce up to a certain level, and then past that, I just couldn't do it. It's a hard thing to accept at this age that it just wasn't meant for me, Todd McFarlane wanted to play baseball. So now being able to put your pencil in the right place is the exact same skill as to be able to hit a baseball coming at you at 90 miles an hour or to see a jet coming at you at the horizon if you're flying a jet in a dogfight. That's all the same engineering requirements of vision. So you know, life isn't always what you want it to be, but it is what you make of it. And in those terms, I have been able to do this. I have been able to produce these two novels, Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox, and for these I'm eternally grateful. And I have this comic book that I did with a friend of mine, Ashley Fox Ninja Babysitter. You guys can check it out. It's in the description. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the description. Follow through and a picture is in there, which I think J. Scott Campbell executes brilliantly. It's right here on the cover. That's triangle, you know, plus you've got this one line leading out, so it's a zoop. Yeah, this is the same thing about comedy. I'm not a naturally funny guy, so I have to work at that too, but I think someone like J. Scott Campbell naturally knows how to position the panels. That's talent. That's Frank Miller, you know. That's why those guys are greats. And that's why I am out here appreciating it and seeing what I can learn from it. Learning is not the same as stealing. If it were, this would be a very poor world indeed. All right, see you guys tomorrow.